And that man levitated up in the air about 2 feet and then flew backwards into the guy behind him. And they got, flattened on top of him. And at that point, I'm pushing through the crowd like, no way, I gotta know, get out of my way.
This is a crazy miracle story from an interview I did with Jeff Hilliard, a pastor from Texas. You're gonna wanna stay to the end for this one. Check it out.
I prayed for a guy who was 25 feet away from me through the crowd. Massive crowd of people all come up. 900 people came up for the altar call. And I'm praying for people. And he was at least 25 feet away. Old man, big beard, like 80 plus. And I just was like, I can't reach him. I can't get to him. The crowd was I couldn't get to him, but he was clearly being highlighted to me. And so I just said, fire fall now. And when I said that, the next thing that came out of my mouth was not part of what I was going to say, but the thing that came out of my mouth was brand new lungs in Jesus' name. And that man levitated up in the air about 2 feet and then flew backwards into the guy behind him with the red beard. And they got, flattened on top of him. And at that point, I'm pushing through the crowd like, no way, I gotta know, get out of my way, and I'm like, just touch, whatever you need, Lord, move.
Yeah.
Part, guys, part. Finally get to him, and I was like, what? Do you know this man? The guy with the red beard, they looked a little bit alike. He's coming out like underneath him, like pushing him off. I was like helping that guy up. And I said, do you know this man? He goes, yes, this is my father. And I said, can you tell me about him? He said, yeah, so this is my dad and he needs a double lung transplant. And then he points to the guy's wrist and he says, you see that wristband that he has? I said, yeah. And he goes, that's his meter. And I said, okay. And I couldn't read the meter because his wrist was this way and the thing was facing down. So I could just see the black strap. And I said, well, what's on what does that mean? Because I don't know what that is. And he said, well, if you turn it around, you'd see the percentage of oxygen that he's getting in his lungs. I went, oh, okay. I said, so what's it normally read? And he goes, like 20% as a good day. Most of the time it's around 12%. And I said, well, let me tell you what I prayed just a second ago before he levitated. And we're both in shock. I've never seen anything like this ever before or since, by the way.
Wow.
I don't understand it. I just know what I saw. I hardly believe it. I know how ridiculous this is. I know there will be people watching this saying, I don't believe this. This is a stupid story. I promise you it is real. You can put me up to a lie detector test. I promise you, I'm not making this stuff up. It's hard to believe though. And I get that. So I said, when I prayed for him, all I wanted to say was fire fall. But then what else came out of my mouth was brand new lungs in Jesus' name. So I believe he just got brand new lungs because clearly the Lord did something to him. And the son said, yeah, I believe you too. Because he just fell on me, like he could. And so I said, can we look? And so he turned his wrist over and the guy's waking up at that point because he was out, right? But he's not sitting up yet, but he's kind of coming out of it, eyes opening, and he's just like, what is going on? And he's taking deep breaths. We turned his wrist over and it said 100%. And then the three of us just on the ground, hugging, crying. So I've seen that. And I saw so much that night. So much. I can't even tell you all of it. But
now I know people will ask, did you keep in touch with that guy and find out if there's a medical confirmation or something like that?
No, I didn't. Okay. I was leaving the next morning and it was, I was charged with pray for the crowd.
Yeah.
So Todd White was like, get that Baptist pastor out here. He needs to lay hands.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to be sitting in the back, and all of a sudden now I'm ministering and praying for people. And it's outside my comfort zone because I'm not a crazy, touch and fall out type stuff.
Right.
Matter of fact, the first time it had ever happened where I prayed for somebody and they went down was at that conference.
Oh my.
And that afternoon. And then that night, it's like, get out here and pray for people. And then that happened. And I'm like, what is going on? Right. Mm-hmm. So, it was a wild night.